receive these funds, and when they do, Silver Spring and our competitors will enjoy the fruits of that by being able to sell our products to them. So we're delighted about the program. We are frustrated about the length of time it's taking, and in fact have seen a chilling effect, somewhat ironically, in that there have been fewer deals awarded, actually significantly fewer deals awarded since the stimulus program started to now than there were in the equivalent time period leading up to the stimulus program. So there were about 12 major, in this country, major awards for smart grid programs in the same period leading up to the announcement of stimulus funds. There have been only 3 since. A little bit is a wait and see. People want to understand how the stimulus money is going to play out. What are people going to do with it? How is the government going to ask for accountability and at what level? And then a little bit of it is just people actually waiting to get the funds in hand. So some of the, I would say one of the other recipients collaterally, or beneficiaries of the stimulus program, has been Brian Cave, because ever since the program came out, I've had to consult with them almost weekly to figure out what I'm supposed to do. So an example, which I thought was somewhat ironic, is all these funds are flowing or to be flowing, and one of the first pronouncements that came along that I scratched my head about was from the IRS, which said that the money being awarded is taxable income, so give it back. And I guess we've eventually have resolved that issue, but it took quite a bit of wrangling, and I saw some very elaborate, well-written legal briefs arguing as to why it should in fact be taxable income and returned to the government, maybe losing a little bit of track of the purpose of the stimulation. We have had to grapple with other issues. There are Buy America provisions, there are labor law provisions that come into effect, and then intellectual property rights. And when you're a high-tech company, you care very much about intellectual property rights. So frankly, we've all been a little bit scared about what the terms are going to be, and our customers, because our customers are utilities and they're risk-averse and this is all new, I think they're even more scared than we are. So as a vendor, it's been a challenge because the reaction of the utilities has been to say, well, let's just ask our vendors to agree in advance to comply with all regulations that the DOE or anybody else imposes on us as a condition of getting these stimulus dollars, which for us has been very terrifying. So we've had a lot of negotiation. We've all kind of gotten a lot smarter. Some of the money's starting to come. So it's all going to be for good. I would have said a lot nastier things before I knew Steve was on the panel, but actually, it really is starting to come together. You've heard it all before. The one thing I just would leave with, maybe we can catch up a little on time. The other thing that I think the government could do is perhaps evince a little bit more in terms of leadership and education. So people may have heard the smart grid, just as one example, has been somewhat controversial in California of late. Other technologies, are they good? Are they bad? Why do we need them? Is the money just boondoggle projects, or are these things that are actually going to benefit the country and the economy, the ecology, and how? And I think it would really be helpful. I'd love to see it from the president on down. I know he mentioned smart grid in his inaugural address, and I was very pumped by that. We'd love to see more of that so that there's a clear purpose. I do think people are not, as consumers, not yet aware of how it's going to benefit them, how all the spending will benefit them, and how these technologies will benefit them. And I think we'll just generally rally around them better with a little bit more kind of a mission type of leadership from the top.
Terrific, Jordan. Thank you so much. Okay, and now we'll move to Linc Group and Greg Lush. Greg, I know one of the things that you guys focus on is lighting. Got a couple of more statistics I'll throw out. You'll let me know if I'm mistaken on them. According to what I've got here, lighting accounts for approximately 18% of a typical building's energy cost, and LED and CFL lights, the basically next generation lighting systems, are 75% more efficient than the old-fashioned lighting. Is that right?
Sounds pretty good.
All right. What do you got for us?
Happy to be here. My name is Greg Lush. The Linc Group, we're a integrated facilities management company. We do commercial, industrial, and government facilities. And so we've been in this game of energy efficiency since President Carter days, where most of our companies are a little over 30 years old. And So I'll take you a little trip, kind of a past, present, and what we believe in the future of where the rubber hits the road, and from a contracting, electrical, mechanical contracting perspective, how things actually get put in, and how we actually yield all this wonderful work these gentlemen have been doing to try to secure funds and other things that we know that 5 years from now it's still going to be running that way efficiently. So in the past, the whole green movement, of course it wasn't called green then, it was, set your thermostat at 68 or 78, and we put in lots of control systems that managed electrical and mechanical loads, and almost every single one of those over time has jumped out, because jumped out meaning bypassed, because most of that environment caused some concern with the end user and some discomfort that hadn't yet been popularized as it is today with the green movement. So although we think the whole green movement is a nice slogan and it's going to be there, it's founded in solid trying to save energy in the environment, but it's raised awareness so people are they seem to be less motivated to jump out a control circuit that may be saving energy. So we're delighted about that. We're delighted to see things like demand dispatch and demand response leveraging some of the smart communication from Jordan's company and of course some of the money to put in the smart meters to be able to get customers to control that one load, a compressor on their air conditioner, or cycle off a refrigerator in the middle of the night, or have their electric dryer run in the evening when peak load is not around. Those things are exciting to us, and of course the end termination points of those is critical, and today for the next handful of years, that end distance between the control system aggregation point and the actual end device, although it may be 30 feet, is still physical feet, is still quite a distance because a lot of the appliances, although Energy Star has been gaining some great momentum, are still not very intelligent when it comes to leveraging some of the smart technology. So we're looking forward to those times and hooking in both in residential, of course, and into commercial and industrial markets. Our present leaves us with items that are real, and those items being, I'll give you an example. Greg mentioned that 18% of load in a building is lighting related. That's a great statistic, and that we can save a whole bunch of money by changing out and putting in compact fluorescents or LEDs as they become more mature in the market. They're still very on the front edge of things in commercial and industrial applications. But the irony of getting people to install things and make sure things run right is, I don't know how many of you, I'm a native Californian, and know that many of your buildings are heated by lights. In the winter, we blocked off the heating cycles many years ago to heat the perimeter of any high-rise building. Why? Because, heck, we had incandescent bulbs that were generating all sorts of heat for us. Why did we need any heating? And so the irony a little bit about, yes, saving 75% on a light means we have to turn the heating back on. And those are the kind of practical things of what happens in the field when we go to apply technology sets. But I think our saving grace is the smarter we can make buildings, the smarter that we can make the power company be able to utilize equipment to do some type of demand curtailment that's not necessarily going to impact an individual's life. As an example, if you talk about lighting again, maybe turning off perimeter office lights through a demand response type campaign. Fantastic. Who cares if the sun's out and you use natural light, and all those things are great things, but take a lot to get them installed. And one of the issues that we have as a contractor is, one, we as a contractor, because of our size and our passion for technology, are pretty far out there on the edge, taking advantage of some of these things. Most contractors aren't. And so we have some challenges there about getting people to make sure that they install things properly and are actually serving the purpose in which they were designed. We also have the practical application of introducing technologies into city environments that aren't familiar with the technology. I'll give you an example. We just recently tried to take one home and install lithium batteries with an inverter in a home to be able to drift that house through the peak time, although time of day metering and that is not real popular yet in the home, but it will be. And so we're trying to drift it through the, let's say 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. time window.